Hi guys, I thought I would share a journal flip with you of my journal. It's not completed, as you can see. It's going to take a long time to be completed because I started this journal in September 2018 and it is now February 2020. So yeah, as you can see, it's taken me all this time to get to this point in the book. So I thought, like, it's about halfway-ish, maybe not. It's hard to tell because obviously these pages have expanded with all the stuff that I've put on them. So maybe I'm only a third of the way through, but I thought it was probably a good time to do a flip through of it. You know, otherwise the flip through would be years later and would be huge. This is a Sea White of Brighton journal. I do love this brand. It's square. The first time I've ever used a square format journal and I flipping love it. I love this thing so much. My spine is starting to bust there though, so it doesn't cope with like the abuse that it has gotten. So I might remove some of the pages further back to relieve some of the pressure on the spine, or I might just leave it and fix the spine up with some duct tape later on. We'll see. So yeah, let's get into it. This is sketchbook paper, by the way, and I've pretty much used everything in it, I think. So yeah, this started on the 21st of September. A lot of the things that you'll see in here are from Patreon videos, so if you like what you see, then you might want to consider coming over and joining the Patreon community. It's only $2 a month. So yeah, so I started off with some doodles, and sometimes things that I do in my journal also end up becoming part of Brimble's collections as well, so you might have seen some of these things. Yeah, so just some drawings. This at the background here is ink. I think it was mermaid markers, so you can see how vibrant they are, and just some words that I clipped out of a magazine that spoke to me. Journal card and selfies. These are Prisma colour markers, not markers, pencils. Prismacolor pencils, why can't I get my words out today? And just some like testing that I've done there, so hopefully you can see all this. Let me just check that. Yeah, you can see. Didn't want to do a whole video and then realise you can't see anything. So yeah, this is the autumn equinox, start of autumn, so I kind of journaled a bit about that and then felt kind of in the autumnal vibe, I guess. So yeah, this girl here, I created her in Prismacolor pencils, and then I went over her with a mermaid marker, a Jane Davenport mermaid marker, which they're ink. I went over it and everything just kind of like blended together so smoothly. It was such an amazing technique, and I would definitely recommend giving that a go. So yeah, just as you can see, like this journal is mainly illustrations and stuff. There's a bit of writing, but not that much. Don't even know what's there, so I'll just kind of fall this in your style hashtag. That was like a challenge on Instagram, so that's just me with a stack of books, steaming tea, wellies, apple and blackberry crumbles, roast dinners, squash soups, candles, big chunky scarf, woolly hat. There we go. Picture of Mr. B, he was just aimlessly looking out the window. Like, I'm not saying that any of these journal pages are finished or that they're amazing or anything, because this to me kind of feels unfinished, but equally it was kind of like, I don't really know where this is going, and going back to some of these things I find difficult sometimes. So yeah, it kind of, that's just where it is. Do you know what I mean? Inktober, I got this prompt from Tyndall's, which is an art shop, lovely art shop in Cambridge. Well worth a visit if you're ever in Cambridge. It's a bit pricey, but sometimes I think these days we are just so used to buying things off of bargain websites that when we see stuff at the actual price it should be, we're like, oh, that's expensive. But anyway, I picked up the Inktober list, and I think I did 3 or 4 of the prompts that year, 2018, and kind of gave up. So this was number 2, Tranquil, which I think I nailed that. I really like this one. Reminds me a bit of Jane Foster's work, but I really like that. This was my poisonous, excuse me, tickly throat. And it's quite funny really, my ink bled quite badly here. And I don't really know what happened with her fingers. I am not very good at drawing fingers. Yeah, so I wasn't, on the whole, I wasn't very happy with how she turned out. I fairly like her head. Just having a bit of tea. I fairly like her head, but the ink bled. I am so impatient waiting for things to dry before adding the next layer on. I will never ever learn, I don't think. And what I should do when you're doing kind of like mixed media type funky pages and stuff, that's really cool. But when you're doing something that's precise, like an illustration like this, that's not cool, man. So yeah. And then I tried to cover it up by like going over in big dark black lines, which kind of made it worse, but there we go. This was day 3, roasted. Call my daughter Mole, the Muddy Mole. She's got her own Etsy shop, by the way, the Muddy Mole, and her own Instagram, so go and check her out, the Muddy Mole. And this, like, roasted, this is like a picture that I drew of her roasting her marshmallow on the fire because she loves toasting marshmallows. And I love this drawing. I always love this. This was a photograph I took of a load of conkers that we'd piled up together, and this photo of me and John was taken by our daughter. She's actually pretty handy with a camera. Yeah, just a bit of journaling about autumn. You can see the conkers that we piled up, and I got down really low and took a picture of my daughter just like gazing off in the distance. Picture of a conker that I drew. Absolutely love conkers. Vellum. Most of the stuff that I use in here are all from my collections. Like this is one of my autumn collections and stuff. So if you ever wonder where I get my stuff from, it's pretty much always the collections that I design. Finding beautiful conkers on our walks, one of like autumn's treasures to me, isn't it? And I've just like used those photos everywhere. Look, I made tabs, made washi strips. Conkers everywhere. Just kind of layered up loads of different washi tapes and photos and things. My daughter wearing a really beautiful autumn outfit was just really lovely. So yeah. Blackberry crazy. We're big on picking blackberries here. We love to pick blackberries, so just a journal page about that. I don't really know what I thought here. But I did a flip down, like, and I don't know, he looks cool like that because you can see him like in completion with his little blackberry basket, but then when you flip down he's only half a thing, so I really should have used another sticker and put the rest of him there. But I didn't, so there we go. So yeah, just documenting us making blackberry crumble. Little autumn fox, cold hands, warm tea. You guys know that I love drinking my teas. I love my tea so much. So this is kind of like an ode to tea. This is a tea bag here. I love this tea. Taylor's spiced apple. It's absolutely gorgeous. I also love the pucker wild apple and cinnamon. And I just put the tea bag packet there and made it a little pocket. So it's just a picture of me with my mug. There's like quite a lot of mug selfies. I do a lot of mug selfies, guys, because I love my mugs. You'll probably notice that whenever I do like something interactive, like a tab or a flip down or something, I tend to put a tab on it, and that's kind of like my signal that it's interactive. That's why I love tabs so much and always love tabs. These, I ended up doing these in 2019, redrawing these in 2019 for my Winnie Witch collection. But yeah, I love her. I do love her. But yeah, I ended up redrawing them but using the same colour palette and stuff. So yes, I was really doing a lot of journaling in September and October 2018. But over time, I lost my mojo quite a bit for journaling and my energy levels and all that kind of stuff, and I've kind of let my journaling slip, if I'm honest, and I'm sort of struggling to get it back again. This page, I think I did this with my daughter. Yeah, I think we had a session together where we were both working in our journals, and I had these 2 illustrations on here, and I just sort of filled them in with stuff. This is Marmalade the cat. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about this. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. More Halloween stuff, me with a pumpkin on my head, as you do, which I then ended up drawing as well, and one of my trolls, my Halloween trolls. These pumpkin creature people faces I did for a Patreon video, but I did them on a in a different book or a random piece of paper, and so I wanted to keep them because I liked them, so I ended up taping them in because I love them. I love how they look. I love the Tower of Pumpkins. I love him. He's so cute. If I do say so myself. Sometimes I create an illustration that I'm like, nah. And other times I'm like, do you know what? I love that so much. Yeah, just documenting our Halloween. This was my daughter's handprint that I then turned into like a spider, drew a spider's web and put some eyes on it. So handprint spider's web, and a picture of her trick-or-treating, and a picture of my Halloween witch troll. And then documenting bonfire night. So yeah, little girl with a sparkler, and the 3 of us. This is supposed to be the 3 of us. My little mole, John's the Badger, and I'm the Hedgehog. And just photos of us toasting marshmallows on the fire, because we all love doing that. Random drawings of a lion. I was gonna do like, I was experimenting with making this into like a jungle collection for a future Brimbles theme, which I might still do. And I don't know why an avocado. I just love avocados. And a sloth. I remember doing this. I was playing around with sloths before I did my sloth collection. Obviously my sloth collection didn't end up looking anywhere near like this. But yeah, I was just playing around with sloths. Some more Halloween-y inspired stuff. I really like drawing witches. You may have noticed. And I think this was another Patreon tutorial actually. Mixing different coloured inks and using nail varnish. This background was created with nail varnish. So using alternative mediums. This I think was just like a tester experimental page. Maybe I was turning it into a background, I don't know, but it is what it is. It isn't finished. I might like print something off or put some die cuts on it or something, I don't know, to finish it off, or I might just leave it. This I was playing around with something. This is a magazine picture, but everything on it is all smudged and blotched and looks like really yucky now, so yeah, that's a bit of a fail page. I think this was for like, I doodled this on a piece of green paper for like an Instagram prompt, I think, and then I ended up like just sticking it in my journal, and I can't even remember. Obviously it's a think bubble and it's got art supplies and books and tea in it, so it's obviously a prompt, something to do with what I'm thinking, I guess. Yeah, another page, drawing feathers. It's got loads of shimmery stuff on there. Super Blood Wolf Moon. This is, yeah, January 2019. So just journaled about the moon. I also, as you probably noticed as well, I try and live very seasonally in my life. So I try and celebrate each season for what it is. And I love incorporating the moon in my journal as well. That's got a lot of shimmery on it. Well, yeah, we had a super blood wolf moon that year, so it was quite special. Just looking at why his legs, it's supposed to be his tail, I think, but like it looks like his legs are going upwards, so it's a bit weird. It should have been going downwards. It's funny how you don't see these things at the time when you're drawing it, and then you kind of see them afterwards. Oh yeah, this was a book review, part of when I did book club on Patreon, which we're not doing anymore. People sort of struggled to keep up with it, so we're not doing it anymore. But it was about like reading a book and incorporating like how you felt about the book into your journal. I do recommend this book, Ink by Alice Broadway. It was really interesting. So yeah, this is kind of like, this page was all the symbols that represented me, all the things that I felt were kind of me on the one page. So on to Easter, Seasons of Change. This was another book that we read, The Binding, which I probably wouldn't read it. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I just made like the book of me and a picture of me and The Binding. I was going to journal in here and on the back of these pictures, but I never got round to it. By that point, I was kind of like, nah, not really. Nah, the book's been and gone. A random extract page. Own you, be you, choose you. I do really like this page. Like, I enjoy like looking at like little elements of the page and being like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I don't date a lot of my pages, so I have no idea when this is from. I'm presuming that it was from last summer because it's kind of like got mermaids in it. But that doesn't mean anything sometimes. Yeah. No idea. No idea whatsoever. But I can see all the ink has kind of like done its funky chicken thing and gone into her face. Oh, this was August 2019, so yeah, this would have been last summer. Another picture of a chick with a swimming costume. Oh yeah, my picture of Paddington. Doing a Paddington and London project with Spudsy. She coloured some pictures in whilst I drew this picture. My picture of Paddington. And then some of her artwork in my book. Skip a few pages there. Oh, my beautiful Florence. I found this picture. I had this picture like hanging around, and I found this on Pinterest, this picture, and I just thought it was beautiful, like a galaxy in a cup with drink me, and I'm like, oh, I could just so drink the galaxy. I love anything sky inspired, and I love these enamel dots. I cannot remember the collection they're from, but the colours are just gorgeous, and they're sparkly, and they're just, yeah, beautiful. Harvest Moon 2019. So my little, it's coming off, need to glue that on. So my little ode to the moon. You get a theme. I like the sky. The sky comes out in a lot of my work. So that was like, yeah, that was like September. And then the next thing I did in here was November, I think. This was definitely for Patreon, a tutorial. I did my snow globe. So yeah, snow globe, as you can see, is a tape cut through, little peekaboo page. And then this sky in December. Really textured, this page is. Really textured, got so much stuff on it. I was going to say crap then. So yeah, I did this guy in December. And then my most recent page is this one for February 2020. So we're now up to date. So there. That is a look at my journal. As I said, I don't journal anywhere near as much as I used to, but I really hope you enjoyed having a look at it. Bye guys.